Namaste, this is JVM Dr. Vishal Saxena, Associate Professor in Mathematics and Statistics in Jayoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. Today I am going to discuss on the module practice of the t-test, and this module of the practice means just we are taking some problems for the practice of this test, t-test. This session is a part of the course Biostatistics and under the program of MSc NND, MSc Biotechnology, MSc Microbiology and MSc FST, first semester of the university. As all we know that t-test is a very important hypothesis test, statistical test, and just can be used to determine whether there is a significant difference between the two data sets or not. And this test can be divided into three parts. Like the first is the independent t-test, and which can be used to find the significant difference between the two means, between the means for the two data sets which are not related or not correlated. The second test for the t-distribution test is known as the one sample t-test, and this can be applied to just compare the sample mean with the hypothesized mean for a population. Again, this is an important part of the t-distribution test. And the third test, which is known as the paired t-test, and this test is also very important part of this t-distribution test. And this test will provide the difference between the sample means for the different data sets. That means this test for the unpaired, which is known as the unpaired t-test, can be used to see whether there is a significant difference between the population means for a set of random samples. And this is important component for the t-distribution test. So to just describe more and these tests with the practical problems, with the numerical problems, we take some questions today to just justify these tests, to see the importance of these tests, and we share some slides for these problems, for these questions. Just in the initial slide we are given that the definition of the t-test, and which we have discussed about that, and here that is the t-statistic formula. T-statistic is given by x1 bar minus x2 bar upon s del bar, and s del bar means the standard deviation is given by under root of s1 square upon n1 plus s2 square upon n2, where x1 bar and x2 bar are the means of the two data sets, and s del bar represents the combined the standard deviation, and it can be obtained as like under root of s1 square upon n1 plus s2 square upon n2, and s1 and s2 are the standard deviations of the two data sets with sizes n1 and n2. So n1 and n2 are the size of the two data sets, and the standard deviation s is given by their x minus x bar whole square with summation. So s is equal to under root of summation x minus x bar whole square upon n minus 1. Now we are having a problem for this to understand this t-distribution test, and the first example, the example given that here, that is test made on the breaking strength of 10 pieces of a metal gave the following results. So we are given that the 10 pieces of a metal gave the following results. So these are the breaking strength of the 10 pieces, like for 578, 572, 570, 568, 572, 570 and 570, 572, 596 and 584 kilogram. So test if the mean breaking strength of the wire can be assumed as 577 kilogram. So that is a question. So we have to test that if the mean breaking strength of the wire can be taken as 577 kilogram or not. So this is our problem. And for this question, how can we do this question here? So first of all, let us first compute sample mean x bar and the sample standard deviation as so initially in the null hypothesis we can assume that the population mean mu as 577 kilogram. The population mean mu is equal to 577 kilogram, and the population mean the null hypothesis can be assumed as the mean breaking strength of the wire can be taken as 577 kilogram. So that is the null hypothesis, just we can assume that, and now here, so population mean mu is equal to 577, we are given that, and next we have to find the sample mean and the sample standard deviation. So for this we are given that we can do this here by any one of the method to find the sample mean and the sample standard deviation. So here the standard deviation method is given that, and initially just we have taken the values of xi, then we will find the values of di. Di means the deviation of data xi from the assumed mean a, and a is assumed mean taken as 575. So we have assumed our mean as 575, and then we have to find the di square, which is equal to xi minus a whole square, xi minus a whole square. So in this way we have to we have prepared this table, and the summation di is there 2, and the summation di square is there 682. Next the sample mean means x bar is obtained as summation xi upon n, and by this formula, like summation di upon n plus a, and this will be obtained as 575.2. and in the similar way the standard deviation S can be obtained as by the formula of S square is equal to summation di square upon n minus 1 upon n summation di whole square, minus 1 upon n summation di whole square. So this is equal to 1 upon 10 into 682, that is the value taken from the table, and minus 1 upon 10 value of n, and into 2 value of summation di, and then whole square. So in this way the S square becomes 68.24, and the value of S means the standard deviation is obtained as 8.26. Now we have to find the value of t statistic. The t statistic is given by x bar minus mu upon S under root n minus 1, x bar minus mu upon S under root n minus 1, and this equal to x bar is the sample mean, which is obtained as 575.2, minus mu is the population mean 577 upon S is 8.26, and then under root of n minus 1, that is 9. So this t is obtained here minus 0.65, and therefore this is just obtained here, and degree of freedom nu is equal to 9. So in the null hypothesis we can assume that like the sample mean is equal to population mean mu, and in the alternative hypothesis we can assume that the two means are not equal, means the sample mean is not equal to the population mean, and the two-tailed test can be used. Let the level of significance be 5% level. So we are taking the level of significance as 5% and two-tailed test is using, and we can see the table. So according to table, for the nu is equal to 9, the value of t statistic at 5% level of significance will be 2.262. Therefore, this observatory t value is less than to theoretical value t 0.05, and therefore if it is less than to if the observatory value is less than to expected value, therefore our null hypothesis is accepted. So H0 is accepted, and therefore the mean breaking strength of the wire can be assumed as 577 kg at 5% level of significance. Now here we are having one more question to understand this. Now samples of the two types of electric light bulbs were tested for the length of the life, and the following data are obtained. So in this example we are given that the two types of electric bulb, one is type 1 and second is type 2. So here the sample number N1 is equal to 8 and N2 is equal to 7, and their mean values are given that as x1 bar and x2 bar. So there are just two type of electric light bulbs are given, that type 1 and type 2, and their size are given that, their means are given that, and their standard deviations are given that as S1 and S2. S1 is equal to 36 and S2 is equal to 40. So the question is the difference in the means sufficient to warrant that type 1 is superior to type 2 regarding length of life? So according to question we have to check whether the type 1 bulb is superior than the type 2 error bulb in the concept of the length of life, means their duration. So just we have to compare them. So we start to solve the question, and we can take our null hypothesis H0 as mu x equal to mu y, means the two type of bulbs are identical, means their life are equal. So mu x equal to mu y means their means are equal, but the alternative hypothesis can be assumed as mu x in which mu x is greater than to mu y, means the first type is superior than the second type for the for the life of their bulbs. So now we find the t statistic t is given by x1 bar minus x2 bar upon under root s square into 1 upon n1 plus 1 upon n2. So that is the formula for the t statistic, and now first we have to find the standard deviation s by the formula of s square that is mentioned here, and now just we have to put the values of n1 and n2, x1 and according to this formula can be simplified as 1 upon n1 plus n2 minus 2 into n1 s1 square plus n2 s2 square. So just we have to put the values of n1 and n2 and s1 square and s2 square in this s square formula. So this will be obtained as 1659.08. Therefore the t statistic is obtained as by putting the values in this formula for the t statistic, just we have which we have taken previously, x1 bar minus x2 bar upon under root s square into 1 upon n1 plus 1 upon n2, and we have to put the values in this T statistic formula, and we will obtain the T as 9.39. So this is 9.39 is the observatory value of T, but here the degree of freedom is 13, and at the 5% level of significance for the 13 degree of freedom, the T statistic is given by 1.771. So 1.771 is the expected value at 5% level of significance for 13 degree of freedom. But our observatory value is 9.39. It means the observatory value is greater than the this expected value, this theoretical value. Therefore, the null hypothesis is rejected. And if it is rejected, then therefore it means their mu s is not equal to mu y, and the alternative hypothesis will be accepted, that the type 1 bulb is superior to the type 2 bulb. So in this way we have taken today some questions, some problems of the t-test, some numerical problems. So students are advised to take some more questions for the practice, and take objective questions as well as the descriptive questions for competitive examinations also. With this I am concluding my today's lecture. Thank you.